Mutual Fund, Patriot, and Propco. 1, 2, 3, and 4 in the early moments of this race. Velocity, Mutual Fund, Patriot, and Propco. Boat's getting a little close there, but no problem. Calm waters here in Marathon, Florida. Patriot, Propco, Mutual Fund, and back there on the outside, but your leader right now by a close margin is Velocity. There you can see Velocity on the far outside. Velocity, Patriot, Propco, and Mutual Fund. Around the turn. Offshore Addiction coming in on the inside. Offshore Addiction also in the mix. An Activator all the way there, back there. Once again, Velocity. Uh-oh, Propco goes into Patriot. We got a major collision here as Patriot spins around and hits Offshore Addiction as well. Let's see it again. As we go around the turn, there is Propco getting close to Patriot and collides with Patriot. And we've got one occupant out of Propco in the water as we see Patriot spin around and hit Offshore Addiction, and Patriot itself now begin to do a 360. We've got a major mishap here on the first turn here in the Factory 1 start. We'll tell you more about that occupant out of that Propco boat in a moment. Let's go on board now as it looks from the Patriot Racing team. Going into that first turn. Propco on the right side. On board Patriot with Curtis Watkins and John Thames. In Propco, we've got David Carruth and Steve Wessinger. Let's listen. Major collision as Patriot spins around, but as you can see, Curtis Watkins and John Thames, they are okay, and they're trying to figure out what just happened. What happened was they got sided by Propco, as one occupant in the Propco boat is out of the boat. Let's see that again. They go around the first turn one more time. Patriot going into Offshore Addiction, spins around, but they are okay. We understand that Angel 1 is en route to the scene. One occupant and Propco out of that boat. We'll give you an update in 1 minute. In the meantime, let's go with Flashwave, a 29-foot Warlock. David Rem and Jim Scherer, driver and throttleman aboard this 29-foot Warlock Flashwave. Took a checkered flag in Daytona. Now David's father, Dwight Rem, is transporting the boat to 15 races this year. Beginning with the Pro Series in Daytona, the Flashwave team, sponsored by CalDiet.com and Americash Home Loans, will be running all Pro Series and Pacific Offshore Series races this year. Flashwave. David Rem, the driver, Jim Scherer, the throttleman. They're from California. Flashwave. There's Wildrose right ahead of Flashwave. There's Activator coming up, that green boat on the outside. There's Activator on the outside. Activator, it's a 27-foot Activator with BJ Marr, the driver, and Mark Schnepp, the throttle man. They are national champions in Factory 1. Activator. Mercury powered, 500 horsepower to inboard. BJ Marr and Mark Schnepp aboard Activator, driver and throttle man. Mark from Coram, New York. BJ from Pennsylvania. All right, let's go now with Factory One's Velocity VR1 28-foot Velocity Mercury powered. Bob Spitulski is the driver. Steve Kildall, the throttle man. They're from Florida. Bob from Oviedo, Florida. Steve from Sarasota. By the way, Steve is the owner of Creek Marine in Sarasota, Florida. Also the owner of Scott Free Racing, which we're going to cover in a little while. By the way, we just got a report that Steve Wessinger from that Propco boat is being cared for. The Angel One rescue team with Jim Poplin arrived, and they are taking care of Steve, and we understand that he is going to be okay. Once again, Steve Wessinger from the Propco boat in that incident we saw a few moments ago is going to be all right. Now, the owner of Velocity VR1 is Scott McCormick. At this point, Velocity VR1 dominating the field here in Factory One. 28-foot Velocity. Bob Spitulski and Steve Kildall on board. Driver and throttle man. Velocity Powerboats, by the way, is an official series sponsor. And the other Velocity, Team Velocity, and the P3 class with Pepper Ernest is also doing very well right now, as is Velocity VR1 here in Factory One, dominating its class. Bob Spitulski and Steve Kildall. Beautiful, clean, green water here in Marathon. You can see the bottom. Beautiful Florida Keys. Velocity, your leader in Factory One. All right, there's Factory One's Offshore Addiction, a 28-foot Warlock with Michael Milligan, the driver, Lance Hendrickson, the throttle man. It's a Mercruiser powered, 500 horsepower. Mercruiser inboard. Thomas A. Chesley, the owner of Offshore Addiction. This boat took a third place in Daytona earlier this year. Crew members include Mike Gasparino and Pete Chesley. Also Thomas and Alicia Chesley. Offshore Addiction. Sponsors: Addictive Water Sports. We got ZEI, Mr. Maintenance, Midas from Rochester, New York, Kids Wish Network, South Bay Temps, and Accurate Auto Tint and Signs. Offshore Addiction in Factory One. There's Midas, one of the sponsors. Offshore Addiction, top of the pack in Factory 1. Around the turn. Now we believe that if this boat, Offshore Addiction, stays where it is or finishes well, it could move into first place in the national point standings because Propco, who did very well, as a matter of fact, they got a checkered flag in Daytona, is out of the race here in Marathon, and Flashwave is having problems as well. Flashwave was also right up there in Daytona, so a chance for Offshore Addiction to move into first place in the national point standings. There you can see the damage sustained when it was hit by the Patriot team racing boat there, and an amazing escape by the Offshore Addiction racing team as it got out of that collision earlier in this race. We saw Propco and Patriot. And it is not slowing them down at all. Offshore Addiction. There's Kinetic Animation now coming into the picture on the inside. Kinetic Animation, a 24-foot skater. Mercury powered Jeffrey Costres is the driver. Ryan Beckley is the throttle man from Bradenton, Florida. This boat took a first place in St. Cloud. Of course, Kinetic Animation, home for your vinyl needs. A 24-foot skater. Ryan Beckley, the owner of Kinetic Animation, has been around for a long time. Kinetic Animation for all your vinyl and graphics needs. Kinetic Animation out of Sarasota. There's Typhoon Racing, F-129 is Mercury powered. Glenn Murray, the driver. Randy Schluss is the throttle man. They had problems in Daytona, but they're doing fine right now. Typhoon Racing, Randy Schluss, the owner. Crew members include Rich Asman, Jimmy Welsh, Glenn Helwig, Mark Aziz, Brett Greiner, Big Eddie, Jack and Diane, and Bob Meyer. Special thanks to Kryptonite Powerboats for building a superior boat and being a factory sponsor. Laura Gifford for being the team's best fundraiser. And Meriden River Boat Club for their support. There's Kinetic Animation on the inside and Typhoon Racing. And then on the far outside, we got Bacardi Silver. Bacardi Silver. Typhoon Racing, her 2000 World Champions. Glenn Murray and Randy Schluss, driver and throttle man. Currently in second place in Factory 1, Typhoon Racing. Nice driving there by Glenn Murray, Randy, the throttle man, both from New Jersey. Bacardi Silver on the far outside and the leader, the overall leader in this race. Bacardi Silver cranking around this course. Typhoon Racing on the inside. Special thanks to family members including Chris and Donna Schluss, Martha Shelby, Christian, Karen, Carolyn, Paul Murray. Mountain Dew, 25-foot course. Jim Harvis, the driver. Donald Fox, the throttle man. Jim Harvis, the owner of Mountain Dew. 84. Mercury Power. Jim from Mechanicsville, Virginia. Don from Arnold, Maryland. Mountain Dew, Outlaw A. In first place in class. There's on the inside Sherwin Williams. Sherwin Williams in A class. Ron Welch and Chris Warren, driver and throttle man. On the outside, Mountain Dew, a battle here in Outlaw A. Sherwin Williams and Mountain Dew. There's Kinetic Animation in V2 on the inside. Battle in Outlaw A with Sherwin Williams and Mountain Dew. Jim Harvis and Don Fox aboard Mountain Dew, 25-foot Corsa. Mountain Dew Racing Team would like to thank the Cocoa Club for the fine accommodations. Brand new boat, High Energy Racing. It's an Activator, 27-footer. Michael McCarley's the driver. Mark Kowalski, the throttle man. Mike from Maryland, Mark from Ohio. New boat, High Energy Racing, Factory 1 class. Mark Kowalski, the owner of this 27-foot Activator. There in the background, the 7-mile bridge, which celebrates its 20th anniversary. And there you see many, many spectators on the bridge watching this race. High Energy, we believe that High Energy is in 4th place right now. Your leaders are Velocity VR1 in 1st, Typhoon in 2nd, Offshore Addiction in 3rd, and then High Energy, that's 1, 2, 3, 4 in Factory 1. Round the turn for the High Energy Racing team. Mike McCarley and Mark Kowalski. Scott Free coming up. Scott Free, a 26-foot Velocity. David Murphy's the driver. Chris Velosin is the throttle man. Jeff Lutkowski, the navigator. They're all from Sarasota, 26-foot Velocity. And there they are. There's Team Durange on the inside in P4, P497. Team Durange with Ben Hedrick and Mike Gordon, driver and throttle man. Battle here in P4 class. Team Deranged and, of course, Scott Free on the outside. They are very close in P4.